The gated community was quiet, the morning air still as the senators stepped onto their patio, coffee in hand. Across the manicured lawns, a sleek helicopter approached, its blades cutting through the silence as it descended onto the private helipad. Everything about the landing was precise, legal, approved, and above all, routine. But not to her. Karen, self-appointed queen of the HOA, stormed down the sidewalk, 2 board members in tow. Her arms were crossed, lips pursed in that way that meant trouble was brewing. She stopped just short of the property line, drawing a deep breath before launching into her tirade. "This is completely unacceptable," she snapped. "You can't just land aircraft in the middle of a neighborhood." The senator took a measured sip of coffee before responding. "It's a helipad, Karen. That's what it's for." "You didn't get HOA approval," she huffed, already flipping through the stack of printed regulations she carried like scripture. "Didn't need it," the senator replied evenly. "FAA approved. City permits. Completely legal." Karen's face twisted, thrown off by the lack of resistance. She glanced at her board members for support. One cleared his throat, shifting uncomfortably. The other looked at his shoes. "This violates community standards," she pressed on. "The HOA has rules, and you're no exception." "The HOA doesn't have jurisdiction over federally approved structures," the senator countered. "I checked. Extensively." Karen's nostrils flared. "You think being a senator puts you above the rules?" The senator smiled, the kind of smile that said, "I've dealt with bigger problems than you." "No, Karen. I think the law does." Silence. A flicker of uncertainty passed over her face before it hardened into something uglier. "If you don't comply, there will be consequences." "Like what?" She hesitated, then doubled down. "Fines. Citations. Possible legal action." "Karen, do you know what happens when you issue baseless fines to a sitting senator?" No response. The senator let the silence stretch. "Nothing," they finally said. "Nothing happens." Karen's jaw tightened. "We'll see about that." She turned sharply, signaling her lackeys to follow. The senator watched her go, taking another sip of coffee. It wasn't the first time someone had underestimated them. It wouldn't be the last. Karen wasn't done. Embarrassment turned to desperation, and desperation turned to retaliation. If the police wouldn't handle it, she'd find another way. She spent the next day bombarding city officials with complaints, demanding investigations, twisting the narrative to make it sound like the senator was running an unauthorized airstrip. But the senator wasn't just any homeowner. They made a few calls of their own. Within hours, Karen's complaints were dead on arrival. Not only were they dismissed, but an inquiry into the HOA's conduct was quietly set into motion. That's when the cracks started to show. An anonymous tip, one the senator may or may not have encouraged, led to a financial audit of the HOA. Mismanaged funds, inflated fines, questionable expenditures under Karen's name. Suddenly, her authority didn't seem so ironclad. Homeowners started asking questions. At first, it was just murmurs, whispers of dissatisfaction. But when local news picked up the story, those whispers turned into outrage. "Senator harassed by HOA over legal helipad." The headlines spread like wildfire. Social media had a field day. Karen's name trended for all the wrong reasons. People started digging. Old HOA horror stories resurfaced. Fines issued for lawn decorations. Threats over mailbox colors. A pattern of overreach, all tied back to one person. Inside the community, frustration boiled over. A group of homeowners called for an emergency meeting, not Karen's usual one-sided power plays, but a real one. For the first time, she wasn't in control of the agenda. She tried to regain the upper hand, insisting the senator was the real problem, that the media was twisting things. But this time, no one was buying it. "Why are we paying dues for legal battles we didn't agree to?" one homeowner demanded. "Where's the money actually going?" another asked. The board members who once stood behind her now avoided her gaze. Some of them had seen the writing on the wall. Others were simply trying to save themselves. Then came the final blow. A motion was put forward to remove Karen as HOA president. She sputtered, tried to argue, But the vote wasn't even close. The same people who once feared her now saw her for what she was, an arrogant bully who had finally pushed too far. The decision was swift. Effective immediately, Karen was stripped of her position. The HOA would be undergoing a full leadership overhaul. And just like that, the power she clung to so desperately was gone.